It says I was muted. Hi. Good morning. Hi, Dulcimer Crossing friends. I'm Erin May, here with you for our Wednesday live stream. Yay! It's great to be with you. I'm just looking down to make sure that the stream is actually working. And then we're going to roll. Today I thought I just want to play a tune. So I'm going to teach you a tune. I thought I would teach you a tune that's probably kind of an obscure tune, one you may not know, because that's always fun. I like finding like the most obscure, weird tunes that aren't super common and frequently played. So I picked a tune like that. Okay, everything is working. I've got the chat open on Facebook. So if you have a question for me about the tune or the strategies for playing it, drop them in the chat on Facebook and I will see them there. And if you're watching later, you can also drop questions in the chat. I'll be watching the discussion going forward too. So feel free to post questions even if it's not during the live watching of it. All right, so let's learn a tune, yeah? So the tune I picked is called Devil in the Strawstack. And Devil in the Strawstack is a really funny little tune. It's a minor tune, but it could also be a Mixolydian tune. You don't know by the melody. It's only when people put chords to it that becomes really clear that it's minor, because this is a tune that has no third in the scale. So it is traditionally played in the key of G minor, G girl minor. So if you are wanting to play it in an old time setting or with a big group of other people who happen to know this tune, G minor would be the key that it's usually played in. But I have transcribed it in D minor, and it's really fun to play on the mountain dulcimer in D minor. If you have a 1.5 fret, you can tune to D, G, D and find this tune really easily. If you don't have a 1.5 fret, this tune in G is a little bit more tricky. You got to tune your dulcimer a different way to get to that Mixolydian note. You need an F natural note when it's in G minor. But when it's in D minor, you actually just need a C natural note, which we have on our melody and bass strings at the 6th fret. And if you're playing hammer dulcimer, you will find this tune going straight up the bridge. That's where your flat 7 Mixolydian type scale is. So you can play not in the box, but straight up. And actually, in the case of this tune, straight down. It starts kind of high and gets lower and bounces around a little bit. But anyway, I will share the music on the screen with you in a minute as we go through the process to learn the tune. But first, I thought I would just play it for you. Okay, so here's how Devil in the Strawstack sounds. Oh, what do you think? Isn't it a cool tune? I think it's a cool tune. So that's what we're going to learn. We're going to do it together. So I wanted to say one more thing, which is somewhere in the process of learning tunes, not always at the beginning, because a lot of time I learn tunes because I'm flipping through a book and one catches my eye and I try playing it and I think, oh, I really like this tune. I want to learn it. Or I am at a jam session or I'm listening to a Facebook Live and I hear a tune and I go, oh, that's a cool tune. I want to learn it. And I start learning it from whatever source I first found it in, right? Whether I'm flipping through a book or I'm learning it from a jam session, I'm learning it the way they played it in that jam session. If I'm learning it from a recording I heard recently or a Facebook event or something like that, like I'm going to learn the tune the way I hear it the first time usually, or the way I heard it when it was compelling to me, when it grabbed my attention. But somewhere in the process of like really learning the tune better, one of the things that I always try to do is go look for old recordings. Like, what's the first recording of this? What history can I find about this tune? Where did it come from? That sort of thing. And I found on YouTube a pretty cool recording of Tommy Jarrell, who's an old time fiddle player, actually playing this tune, and he names where he first heard the tune in that video. And so what I will do afterwards is drop a link to that YouTube video in the comments. So if you want to check it out, I was going to try to like share the YouTube video with you, but I'm not 100% sure how the whole like live streaming a YouTube video, sometimes Facebook will like shut down your live stream if you're sharing something that's not original content. So I will post that link and you can go listen to Tommy Jarrell play it on the fiddle. And the way Tommy Jarrell plays it on the fiddle is pretty close to the tune that the way I originally learned it. And I actually learned it from Carp Camp homework from the Walnut Valley Festival a bunch of years ago. I originally learned the tune there, and then I've played it with a few different old time groups. Who like one or two people knew it and we decided to try it anyway, kind of a tune, and played it. And I just really like this tune. It's magic to me. So I hope you enjoy it too. So what I'm going to do is put the tune on the screen. I'm going to walk you through it kind of slowly. We're just going to play a tune today. And I hope you enjoy it. So hopefully, let me even see if I can like zoom into just the A part. Let's see if it'll let me do that on the screen. Close. I want to make it as big and easy to read as possible for you. Okay, so what we've done is we've lost the very last note, which is a 0. So I will name that one for you. Oh, and I'm going to switch my camera so you can see my dulcimer up really close. Perfect. We're just going to try to read through the A part together. So a thing that you will notice is that it's switching from the bass string to the melody string. And if you're playing on the hammer dulcimer, you're reading some ledger lines here where you're actually reading below the staff. So I'm just going to name this is an A, this 2 ledger. Wait, that's a C. That's a C. That's an A. Yeah, 2 ledger lines below the staff is the A, and then it lands here on a low G. So this low G is the lowest note when we're playing it in D minor. And then it jumps up like almost an octave to get to the next little phrase. So there's kind of this low phrase, and then there's this high phrase. The low phrase happens again, and it ends on a high phrase. So you'll feel that as we're playing through it. So we're starting on a D note on the bass string at the 7th fret. I'm in D-A-D tuning. Didn't do anything different to play this in D minor. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 7, 6, 4, 6, 7, 6, 4, 6, 7, 6, 4, 6, 3. Does 7, 6, 4, 6 again. Now it jumps to the melody string. Second line. This is a D, C, A, C, D, C, A, C, D, C, A, C, G. D, C, A, C, D, A, G, E, D. Let's do it again. All right, so that was the A part. So I want to talk about a couple of mountain dulcimer specific things related to fingering. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen for just a minute so you can see my dulcimer bigger. So when I play this 7, 6, 4, 6, I'm using index, middle, pinky. And I totally get pinky on the bass string is not comfortable for everyone. It works really well for me to kind of rock back and forth between those notes and just use 3 fingers that are available to me. There's nothing wrong with sliding though. That slide sound is cool on the bass string, so you can for sure slide, especially like between 6 and 4 and 6 and 4. I don't use my thumb on the bass string at all, but that could be another. If you're a thumb player, you could use thumb on the bass string. You can tell I don't use thumb on the bass string because I'm really sloppy at it. So there's a bunch of possible ways of kind of making that transition happen. I'm going to share my screen again and put this music up where you can see it again. Another thing I always like to name when it comes to fast fiddle tunes with lots of eighth notes. The second eighth note in any pair, so if you look at the pairs of eighth notes in here and you look at the pairs of the eighth notes in here, the second eighth note is always less important than the first eighth note. And the second eighth note is the same note in all of these, right? So it's always the C, it's always the 6 on the bass string. And so what that tells me is if I can't get a note, it would be more important to play D, A, D, A, D, A, G, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 4, 3. That's the really important thing. And because of that, if I slide the whole way, it slides right by that 6, that C note. And so on the mountain dulcimer anyway, if I totally leave out that note, I can still get this tune to really sound like the tune. Same thing when I get to the 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1. It's always the 3s that are the less important note. It's the G natural note over here. And so you can always skip that second eighth note, you can always slide by it if that works better for you than using individual fingers. So again, I'm using index, middle, pinky to do these runs. You could do slides. You could do a different set of fingers that work. This A part is the really jumpy part of the tune. But again, if you want to, you can just slide through those jumps. And that'll get you there. So let's play the A part at that same speed one more time, and then we'll look at the B part together. 1, 2, ready, play. Trying not to go too fast. Here's where it jumps to the melody string, back to the bass string, it lands on 0, the D note. Repeat it. We're on the bass string. Lands on the 3, G note, back up to our little repeating line, then it hops to the melody string to the high A, back to the bass string, to the high melody. Okay, I want to point out one more thing. That's this place where you've got to tie across the bar line. So this is how I play it. It is anticipating the first beat of the fourth measure in these lines. And so I'm anticipating those notes by actually playing that A, that high A, on beat 4 of the previous measure. So it feels like I'm getting there early, and then I just kind of hold on to it and then move into the eighth note pattern. So if I wanted to play it in a way that didn't have that anticipation, it would sound like this. So it's got a lot kind of more straight feel if you don't use that tie to create that anticipation. And when I have played it with other folks, that anticipated note here is really common. Most people will play it with that anticipation. And so I wrote it into the music. But that's a kind of thing that happens a lot in fiddle tunes where the anticipation might not be written into the music. So there might not be a 4 on beat 4. It might just be on beat 1. But when you start to listen to everybody play it, you realize folks are actually landing on that note early. And so this is what it looks like in the music if you're hearing that sound of like, it sounds like we're getting there before beat 1. We're getting there on beat 4, and we're holding it over across beat 1 and then resuming our eighth note patterns. So that's a pretty common little embellishment you'll hear in a lot of fiddle tunes. Okay, I'm going to move us up to the B part here. Try to keep, yep. Okay, so the ending is going to be the same, da-da-da-dum, but the rest of it does something different. And so this one is all on the melody string or up in the higher register on your instrument. And let's see if we can play it. I did put a double stop on the mountain dulcimer part here in the third measure. So for hammer dulcimer players, it's not written in, but we're playing an E note below the C note. So we're playing a C in the melody and an E, which is the third of that C chord. We're playing that note below the C in pitch. So if you wanted to catch that C and E note, it just hints a little bit more at the chord change from D minor to C here. And it's totally optional. So mountain dulcimer players, you're welcome to leave out the 4 on the middle string. It's just kind of cool if you want to put it in there. So the first time through, I'm going to play it without it. And the second time through, I'm going to play it with it. So we're starting on the melody string at 4. It's an A note. 1, 2, ready, play. Here's that 6, C to D, going down, lands on the A note at 4. That high D, to the C and D, lands on 0, low D. Do it again. Here's that double stop. Second line. And open. Okay. So rhythm wise and note wise, I think the B part is a little bit simpler. It's got a lot more quarter notes and half notes in it. There is one place where you've got a little eighth note run. And again, if you look at what the second eighth note does and what the first eighth note does, you see that in this situation, the important note is the 7 or the D note that we land on in beat 1, which is the same D note we just played in the first measure. So we're playing A, D, 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 A. That would be the sort of simplified melody of this. So if you want to get the 7, 8, 7, 6, D, E, D, C in there, that's great. That's a very fiddle style fill in that place. And if it's going too fast for you and your fingers are getting tangled, just play 4, 7, 7. That's ADD. 7, 7, 4. That's the simple melody here. And then 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 3, 4. So again, you can totally leave out the eighth note on the way, or you can just slide from 6 to 3, catch 4 afterwards. So there's always a way of kind of removing the complicated eighth note passages and simplifying the tune. If you're playing it all by yourself, you might find that to be a little bit boring or dull sounding, and you might want to just play the tune more slowly so you can catch all the eighth notes. But if you're playing with other folks and they're playing faster than you've practiced it and you're not quite comfortable playing at the tempo they're playing, a great strategy is to just get rid of the eighth notes and play those quarter notes as the important part of the tune. So let's put it together. The one other thing that I want to kind of talk about is accent placement. Let's see. I think that it's probably going to be hard to read. So we'll just do 2 lines at a time and I'll scroll between the parts as we put it together. Accent placement in this tune is really on 1s and 3s, which is what makes this anticipation here so unexpected, because you're also playing a note on the not usually accented place. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3. 4. So it does this little, like it puts a hitch in your get along, because you're going along with accents on ones and threes. All of a sudden you have an accent on beat 4. That's probably why I like this tune. It's got a hitch in its get along. I like a little bit of syncopation in my life. Okay, so I'm gonna play it. We have time to play it through a couple of times. So what I'm gonna do is play it at a pretty slow tempo, and then I'm gonna speed it up a bit. So we'll practice the process of playing the tune a little bit faster. And if you enjoyed the tune and you would like me to send you this transcription of it as a PDF file, you can just send me your email address, or you can email me. I don't have it set where I can like put that on the screen for you, but it's Erin@erinmaymusic.com, or you can comment in the Facebook chat, and I'm happy to send you the PDF file that I've been putting up on the screen. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Jump into the melody string, those high notes. Back to the bass string. To the melody string. Back to the bass string. Repeat the whole thing. Here's the B part. Repeat the B part. Last line. Back to the A part. We're going to go a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, go. Here's the B part. I just realized the notes aren't there. There you go. I played a variation. Oops. That's what we do with fiddle tunes, right? B part again. All right. Devil in the Strawstack. An old traditional tune, but not one of the more common old traditional tunes in my experience. So, Francis, to answer your question, yes, this live stream will be available forever, I guess, on the Dulcimer Crossing Facebook page. There's also a place on the Dulcimer Crossing website where you can log in if you have a subscription, and you can see all of the archives for the live events and Dulcimer Crossing Wednesday live streams. Steve started these at the beginning of the pandemic, and we've been doing a live stream every Wednesday morning. Usually it's either Steve Yulberg or myself doing the live stream. Sometimes we get to do them together, which is really fun. So yes, those things exist and are archived and will remain available to you. Be sure to check out the next Dulcimer Crossing live event, which features Grant Olson. He's going to be teaching about his method for playing 4 equidistant string mountain dulcimer. It's very cool. Also, if you enjoy this process of sort of focusing on one tune and learning all the stuff about one tune, I teach monthly tea and a tune classes. They're called, and my next one is on Sunday, and I'll be teaching the tune Spotted Pony in a lot of depth. So we have a whole hour to learn one tune really well. So we'll play it, sight read it, study it, analyze it, add embellishments, play it some more, work on playing it faster. And so those 1 hour classes can be a really effective way of really, really learning a tune instead of just kind of getting an overview of the tune. So you can go to erinmaymusic.com to learn more about the Tea and a Tune classes, and dulcimercrossing.com to learn more about the next live event workshop with Grant Olson coming up later this month. So I'll drop links to all of that in the Facebook comments in a couple of minutes. Thank y'all for joining me for this morning's Wednesday live stream. I will be with you again next week, and then we expect Steve to be back with us if recovery from his surgery has gone the way they expected it to. So we'll be getting an update from him next week, and I'll have more information for you about that. In the meantime, have a fantastic Wednesday, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.